We're playing a Eternal War mission today. It's Big Guns Never Tire, and there's 5 objectives up for grabs on this Ash world that was once Imperial. We've got an objective here, one over there, one directly in the centre of the board, another one just there, and one behind the redoubt here. So each objective is worth 3 points, and any heavy support is worth a point if you take that out. It's Vanguard Strike Deployment, so quite even, a lot of extending terrain, but the line of sight isn't that impeded on this board. This is 2,500 points of Necrons. We're using the Decurion detachment today, everyone's favourite. So in the Reclamation Legion we've got 2 units of Immortals with dedicated Night Scythes. There's 7 in each unit. We have Tomb Blades. They've got the +1 to the Jink and Armour Save upgrades. We've got 2 Ghost Arcs, each with 10 warriors in. We have a unit of 20 warriors, and they will probably, most likely, be joined by the Overlord. Now, the Overlord has basically all the trimmings. He's got the Phylactrophy, Phase Shifter, Resurrection Orb and Void Reaper, and he's got Mind Shuttle Scarabs as well. It's not really going to play a feature in this game because, as you'll see, the army that they're facing are largely fearless. So we've got a Monolith as well, that's in the Reclamation Legion, and we've got Annihilation Nexus, so just as you see, just stock, it's the only way they can be. And there is a Canatech Harvest, so all of the Wraiths have whip coils, 6 bases of Scarabs, and of course the Spider, and he's got the ability to fix a vehicle on a 4. So pretty much fixed as Necrons go, because there's not much room for change in a Decurion detachment, but that's how I like the Necrons anyway, just lots of bodies. So the Warlord's Warlord trait is the last one on the chart. He has to accept challenges or issue them, but he does get a reroll to hit. So we'll have to see how that pans out in the game, because I really don't want him getting into combat anyway. So there's the Necrons.
$2,500 points of KHORNE Daemonkin. I have 2 main components to that. One of them is a Slaughter Cult, and that's mostly over on the left hand side, and the Charnel Cohort, which is mostly on the right hand side, and they're assisted by a Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage. And the Slaughter Cult have a Herald, he's on foot, and he will be leading that force, and he's also the Warlord, and he's got +1 to his attacks. He has the Loci Fury, which gives him Rage 2. And in his Slaughter Cult we have 16 Bloodletters just behind, with the instrument and the banner and the Blood Reaper. And we have 8 Berserkers. 8 Berserkers have 2 plasma pistols, 2 chain axes in there, and a melted bomb for the champion. And we have 5 Possessed, and we have the Icon of Wrath, which gives them Furious Charge. And we have Cultists, 2 units of Cultists there. 2 Chaos Spawn units, and over in the charnel cohort. We have juggernauts, there's 8 of those, Khorne number, led by Harold, who has the locus of wrath, and that gives them hatred. And he has a juggernaut, of course, and 2 skull cannon, and then we have 2 units of 16 blood letters, each has blood, an instrument and a banner, and then we have 8 of the flesh hounds, so all multiples of Khorne number 8. Now,
Both forces have set up now. The Daemonkin force went first for setting up, so it's a big, angry, red line, all foaming at the mouth to come forward. The Necrons, it's a silver line, and not many bodies around. There's a lot in reserve for Necrons. Gonna have to protect these vehicles as the Necron player. Obviously each heavy is worth 1 victory point, so because of the mission there's only 2 heavy support in the Daemonkin army. That's the 2 skull cannons versus 4 units in the Necrons, so I have to protect those units. So in reserve for Necrons, the monolith that is coming in from Deep Strike, the 2 night sides, and the 20 warrior squad are going to come on from reserve. So Daemonkin have left nothing in reserve, everything is out and looking for action. So Daemonkin do have the first turn, unless the Necrons can steal the initiative on 6. No. So Daemonkin, turn 1, cometh the red tide. So Khorne have moved forward, everyone has run except the skull cannons. They're about to open fire, so do you want to do that? Do the main one so you can get first blood on this ghost arc here.
so,
Dead center, I imagine.
yeah, we'll put it just off.
Direct hit, so strength 8. Leading. Nope, that's only 12. It's quantum shield is still up, so it's a 13, so that just bounces. So Necrons movement phase in turn 1. The Scarabs have moved for a shield wall. They've added the Scarab thanks to the spider, and the Wraiths have lunged out, ready to take on this vanguard strike from the Blood Crushers. I'm going to have support and fire from the 2 Annihilation barges and the Ghost Arc. And then the Ghost Arc on this side is lined up for shots on the Hellhounds. And the Doomsday Ark has lined itself up for a long shot on those KHORNE Berserkers on down the alley here. So long shot onto Necron's shooting phase. So the Necrons have fired, able to strip off a lot of blood crushers thanks to the annihilation barges and this ghost ark, and a few dogs have dropped down as well and managed to drop 4 berserkers over there. So there is an assault in the first turn, so the Raiders are going to go in against that squad there. So it's going to be a big old buster. So the combat is resolved for the Necrons in turn 1, able to down 3 blood crushers and cause a wound on one of them, and it goes unanswered by KHORNE. So the Wraiths still holding strong. There is 2 blood crushers left, and this demon prince, the bloodthirster rather, looks like he's going to swoop in and use that destroyer weapon to mash them up. Masters of KHORNE, still not deterred, come forward, various run moves, and the Bloodthirster definitely looking for a charge on those Wraiths, and the what's it called? Spawn looking to get a charge off on that Ghost Ark, as are the Hellhounds, Fleshhounds even, can't call them Hellhounds. So some charges to do. KHORNE can't wait, I bet. So onto the assault phase. Oh sorry, you got some shooting. 2 skull cannons, so we'll just wrap that all up together. So KHORNE assault phase on turn 2 is complete. The Herald has been killed, and the Bloodthirster manages to roll a 6 and just wipe out one Wraith with no reanimation possible. Or invulnerable. The Fleshhounds exploded the Ghost Ark, so that gives KHORNE first blood, and the same over here. The Spawn runs in, explodes the Ghost Ark, and that's a blood tithe point. So 3 blood tithe points, so they should start appearing through the warp any turn soon, and that is a good point, first blood. So the Necrons are going to have to rely on reserves here. We've had 2 major blows to our firepower, losing those arcs. Still have some presence on this side of the table, but we're going to have to rely on the reserves now, because KHORNE are very, very close to the Necron lines. Necron reserves arrive, the flyer comes zooming on, and he's getting an angle on the spawn there. The Warlords, 20 warrior units, they come on from the very corner of the board, and the Monolith deep strikes in the backfield. So as for what was on the board already, just staying static, the Doomsday Arcs line up for a shot on Skull Cannon, and the warriors are just going to try and mow down the units that blew up the vehicles. So it's Necron's shooting phase. Got some good shooting in place here. So Necrons have had the shooting phase, and the monolith comes down and takes a huge chunk from that bloodletter squad there. 11 casualties. The dogs are completely obliterated by the warriors, and the side broadside of the Doomsday cannon. The main gun missed its primary target. The spawn, both squads, wiped out by the amass firepower all on this side of the board, and the tomb blades managed to cause a lot of casualties on that bloodletter squad in the trench. So there's only the close combat left to do for this turn. Big blow for KHORNE, but they do have a lot of blood tithe points, so I expect them just to replenish the numbers next turn, and we'll see if the Bloodthirster can hack through these raids here. The combat rages on. Just a wound achieved on the Blood Crusher in there, and the Bloodthirster deals out a few attacks, but they're all saved on the invulnerable save of the wraiths. So it's going to continue that one in the middle of the board, and it's now on to Daemonkin turn 3. So got a feeling the warp's going to open up and spit forth some more demons. KHORNE Daemonkin movement phase. So at the start of the turn, we had the Dark Apotheosis, Cultist Champion, turned into a Demon Prince, as you see there. So that's big accolades for just a lowly Cultist Champion. All the bloodletters in this section of the board have just made a big rush down the board, just trying to close the gap on the Necron lines, and skull cannons are looking like they're just trying to get a better position on the scarabs, I believe. The two berserkers left over here, one of them has a melter bomb and he's looking to make his way to the monolith eventually. So it's on to shooting phase for Daemonkin. So the Dark Apotheosis and the remains of the Slaughter Cult also have Feel No Pain. So those are the two cards that were played also. So that concludes Daemonkin's turn. The skull cannons managed to take out just 2 scarabs. Not great for those, but better news for the Demon Prince. He's able to insta-kill 2 wraiths. So he's only got 2 to contend with now. And they're closing the gap, very much so. So it's going to have to be another good round of shooting from the Necrons if they need to hang on. So Necron movement phase, the second flyer still hasn't turned up, so it's on this night scythe to try and score some points now. We're going to try and take out the heavy support vehicle in the skull cannon here. The warriors that were on the other side of the board have used the portal on the monolith to come out here, perhaps to try and take out that skull cannon, or maybe to just whittle down the cultists a touch. And the Overlord's unit have moved forward. We need to try and take out these 2 berserkers before we can plant a melter bomb on the monolith. So the Necron silver lining has just got some better angles, ready for the crush of Khorne that's coming up. So some shooting. If we can hold them here, then I think we could have the game in hand for the Necrons. Let's see how it goes. So the Necron gun line fires up, manages to reduce a lot of squads in the area down to minimal numbers. Still a presence in there. They don't need a lot, I think, in my opinion, to waste the Necrons. So they're going to get what they want next turn, no doubt. The flyer, success, takes out the skull cannon, earns a victory point for big guns never tire. And the monolith and the Necron warriors fire down at this skull cannon and it survives. And on this side of the board, the Overlord's unit just take out the 2 remaining berserkers. So we've dealt with that melter bomb threat. The monolith should live on, and it's on to Khorne in the next turn. Sorry, in the combat, neither side did any damage. 6 saves to make for the raids, and they made them all. It's getting frustrating for the Bloodthirster. Can't get me words today. So the Bloodthirster definitely in a rage now. So we're on to Daemonkin turn. So Khorne have finally moved forward, ready for the assault. They've seen some hard times this lot, and now they're ready to wet the blades. The Demon Prince has landed here. He's going to have to wait another turn before he can charge. And the cultists have moved down, possibly to assault the Necrons. Necron warriors. So it's on to assault for Daemonkin, and there's a lot of them.
Shoots first. Shoot the skull cannon.
Ah yes, there's a skull cannon to shoot, so we'll just resolve that with the combats. So Daemonkin have their assault phase, and the Bloodthirster finally gets success and just wrecks the 2 counter-attack raids. The Bloodletter squad here just totally wipes out the Tomb Blades. Not so good on this front. The Possessed find it hard, and it's 1s apiece, so that is a drawn combat. And the Bloodletters over here also find it hard. They do kill a base of Scarabs, but they lose 1 in return, so that fight continues. So it is Necrons, and we need to come back hard and nip this in the bud, because there is 1 barrel or 1 objective in it at the moment. Necrons have the 2 at this end of the board, and the Daemonkin own basically these 3 in the centre, just about. So what can the Necrons pull out the bag? Try and do something about this domination in the centre of the board. Necron's turn. The flyer has automatically came on from reserves, and the other night side has flown off the table. The large squad of warriors have moved up. We're going to try and strip down the skull cannon. The immortals have arrived out of the beamer, and they're going to just see what needs killing, and hopefully they can achieve that. The annihilation barges, it's a last stand for them. They need to do some good work this turn, and so does the Doomsday Cannon. So the same story over there as well. We need to do some killing. We're trying to wrestle as many points as we can from the Daemonkin. This is going to be a crucial turn. So Necrons respond in devastating fashion, completely clear out the centre of the board almost. The Demon Prince, the Bloodthirster rather, goes down to the two annihilation barges, fearsome firepower there, and the Flyer takes out the skull cannon, and the immortals hammer the Warlord's unit in the centre. This Bloodletter unit takes a few casualties of the Doomsday Cannon, and the Demon Prince and his cronies go largely untouched over there. So it is assaults now. So these warriors that we're looking at, they are going to assault into the cultists, and these combats on this side of the board need to continue as well. So the combats in the trenches are decided. The possessed finally crush the Necrons here and sweep in advance. The Scarabs managed to overwhelm the Bloodletters thanks to the Canatech spider walking within range to give them the old reanimation protocol. And the warriors on this side just totally take apart the cultists, and he opts to fail the morale check for one of them left to get another Blood Tithe card. So it's bloody. There's not a lot of KHORNE units left, but there are in the best positions, and there's another heavy support up for grabs here if the possessed can successfully take that out. So it's KHORNE Daemonkin, turn 5 now. Daemonkin, turn 5. Start the turn. The skull cannon turns up out of the blue, holding that objective, and the Herald, the Warlord, joins this Bloodletter unit looking to take on the Spider. He is a heavy support, so that could be a point in hand. And of course the possessed move on for another heavy there. Brave Bloodletter looking to take on the Immortals, but with support from his big brother, the Demon Prince. So it's thin on the ground for KHORNE. However, they have got a lot of scoring opportunities here. So it's straight on to assaults. So that's the end of Daemonkin's assault. Demon Prince comes rushing in and deals major casualties to the Immortals. Do pass the morale, so they are hanging on, contesting that objective. And in the surprise move, the skull cannon fires and destroys the Doomsday Arcs. That's a point for Daemonkin. The Spider manages to claw back the point by issuing a challenge and doing a smash attack on the Herald and insta-kill them. And Daemonkin get the point back again by destroying the Annihilation Barge. So it's close, very close. Daemonkin are on a lot of barrels, on a lot of objectives, should I say. And it's up to the Necron to try and get this in turn 5. So let's get this extra flyer on and see if we can pull it out the bag. Necron reserves have arrived. Flyer comes screaming on and deposits the Immortal squad. We need to try and dispatch this skull cannon and free up that objective there. Scarabs are coming in to support the spider, and we're going to try and dispatch these possessed with the flyer and the annihilation barge. The fight's going to continue there, and hopefully for the Necrons they're going to try and make these cultists fail a morale check and drive them off the objective there. So here comes the shooting phase. It's going to need to be good because it's getting very, very tight. So shooting phase a little bit lackluster. The warriors open fire. They do chip off 2, which is enough for a morale check. So if you want to do that now, oh no, you've already done your morale check, haven't you?
Pass the morale check.
Yeah.
They went to ground. Pass the morale check.
Able to achieve 1 whole point on the skull cannon from all of this firepower, and we'll whittle down the possessed down to 1. The scarabs have assaulted. We did
try to spawn a spider.
Spawn a scarab base, and then ended up taking a wound. So that's really not good. So we've only got 1 wound left, and we'll have to survive another round on the bloodletters. So it's assault phase. It's make or break. And does the game end there? We'll find out. Okay, so the combat is complete. We do despair. The spider goes down, failed on his last wound, and the immortals are eradicated on this side. So it's now 3+. The game continues. The game continues. So Daemonkin turn 6. Daemonkin turn 6 movement phase. Another skull cannon's turned up, and this one's turned around. I'm going to look to try and seize this objective right in front of the immortals. This is crucial now. The blood letters are going to try and get another point for Big Guns Never Tire on that annihilation barge. The Demon Prince looks like he's going to try and mince up the Necron warriors there, and as this lonely bloodletter secures that objective. So let's go on to shooting phase, see how that progresses. It's getting far too close for comfort. So just a quick errata. It turns out the amount of attacks that these bloodletters had was
Twice.
Twice too many, yeah. So we redid it, and it turns out he is still alive because it is a hard combat. That's why I was so sure. So he still does get the skull cannon in. So that's just turned around, and this combat does continue. So it's such a close game. There can't be any mistakes made such as that, because it would be a shame. So we went back on that, but it is still up for grabs, that one, because he's only got 1 wound left, and it is possible. So bit of a mistake there, but it's been amended. So the combat's resolved over here. The chariot just runs down the immortals with relative ease, in fact. Skull cannon fails to do anything to the annihilation barge, luckily, for the Necrons. And another mystery over here, the Demon Prince fails to kill anyone, and the Necrons fail to do any wounds back, so there's a stalemate over there. So it's very, very touch and go now. The Necrons possibly have the final turn, we'll have to see. But it's thin everywhere now. So the action continues on this side of the board. The Necrons just reshuffle. The flyer flies off the table. The Night Scythe number 2 is just looking to take away that bloodletter, and it's going to be a big old firefight over here on these skull cannons. So these are heavies still, even if they have been summoned, so the few points up for grabs there. And of course this combat over here, it's probably going to be resolved very soon. You can't get away with taking no damage from a Demon Prince that long. So it's on to shooting phase for the Necrons. So the combat over here, the Necrons actually cause a wound on the Demon Prince and they get all the reanimation saves, so that continues. The bloodletter that was once here is reduced to paste. And over here, the Scarabs, well, first of all, the Annihilation Barge try to shoot this skull cannon in the back. When you achieve 1 hull point, with that hull point we decided to charge the Scarabs at it because it would be easier to strip down, and of course they failed the charge on a 6. Failed it on a 6 even with fleet, so that is just so hard to bear. So it's so close, this game. And does it continue? So it continues on a 3. The game ends. So we're going to calculate points here. It's going to be very, very close. I haven't been keeping score as we went. So the game has ended. We've calculated the points and it turns out it's a draw. If the Necrons didn't achieve the Warlord kill, then that would have slid it. But it's between the Warlord kill and Daemonkin getting first blood, so those were the crucial points there. It's hard to believe. I think if the Scarabs made the charge there, that would have edged it, because this skull cannon, not only is it holding that objective, it's also securing the line breaker. So we did try everything to take it out, and it just hung on. So that has been probably the unit of the Daemonkin. That's one, well, not one, but it's drew the game for Daemonkin. Very important unit, that one. So, I mean, if we look at the bodies, the casualty list is very, very high on both sides. It's not something you normally see for Necrons. They normally live forever, but look at that. The body count is high, the damage has been done, and it's a draw.